Moscow is one of the largest cities in the world. More than 12 million people live here. I know that many Muscovites like to play board games. They are very popular. But there is one game that not everyone knows about, despite the fact that it is considered one of the oldest and most popular in the world. This is the logic board game known as Go. Today, we will tell you where, how, and with whom you can play Go in Moscow.
Today on the program, how and where did Go, the most popular board game in the world, appear? When did the Go phenomenon take hold in Russia, and how complicated are its rules? The World Go Championship in Vladivostok, the first championship that took place outside of Southeast Asia.
Go is one of the oldest board games in the world. According to Chinese legends, it's over 4,000 years old. It's one of the four major arts of the Celestial Empire, along with calligraphy, painting, and music. Legend has it that the game was invented for Emperor Yao's son to develop his wit, attention, and concentration. Originally, only the nobility were allowed to play Go. It was believed that ordinary people had no need to develop their skills. But over the years, the restrictions were relaxed and Go began its expansion throughout the East. Over time, different countries such as Korea and Japan developed their own local rules of the game. Europeans learned about Go in the late 19th century, and the game quickly became popular in the West. As early as 1908, the first European textbook on Go was published. As you have already understood, Go is a whole lot more than just a board game. This game has its own international federation, and it has its own World Cup, which has been held every year for the past 40 years. This year, the World Go Championship was held outside of Southeast Asia for the first time. The host city this year will be the Russian city, Vladivostok. Vladivostok is the largest economic, logistical, and cultural center of the Russian Asia-Pacific region. In 2021, here, on the Ruski Island, in the buildings of the Far Eastern Federal University, the first Go World Championship in the history of Russia was held. Prior to that, in its 40-year history, international Go competitions had never left the Southeast Asian region.
This is really a very important event. It's filled with a really positive spirit, and that truly makes a very significant breakthrough in the promotion of Go, in the development of Go in our country, and I think that it's not far off. I think that it will happen when Russia starts winning serious awards, though the main thing is to be able to play Go, to progress together with it. Of course, we're on the road. We're on the way, and holding this tournament in Vladivostok is a significant step in the right direction. The popularity of Go has been increasing every year. You can see that in the number of tournaments, in the number of participants, and in the number of people who are active, ranked players in Russia. So we are moving in the right direction, but we still have a lot to do.
The previous World Championship was held in 2019 in Go's homeland, China. The 2020 competition was cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic and moved to 2021. The 41st championship was attended by professional players from 77 countries. Spectators had the opportunity to follow the games remotely. The campus of the Far Eastern Federal University, which became the site of the championship, carefully prepared for this hybrid format of the event.
For a year and a half now, there has been a Go Club at the university. There are students and teachers there, and attention is developing in this direction. During this time, a new development program at the Far Eastern Federal University has been established where there is a general focus on the Eastern vector, the Eastern direction. is one of the key priorities. And the game of Go will become the cornerstone of student training and cultural exchange. It's already resolving issues because students from the Asian region come here at a crossroads of Asia to a European city, and students from all over Russia come here to the city at the center of the Asian Pacific region.
Russia was represented at this year's championship by Vyacheslav Kaimin. Since the beginning of the 2000s, Russian players have become European champions 15 times in this intellectual sport, but they have never yet become world champions.
Our competitor, I think, has a good chance to be in the top 10. There are 57 competitors in total. And yesterday, he lost one game, but it was only 3 rounds. He had 2 wins, so the chances are still good. In general, I think our player is one of the strongest representatives of Russia among amateurs, so he should perform well.
The World Championship consisted not only of competitions, but also a business program, plenary sessions and conferences dedicated not only to the game of Go. In total, more than 120 politicians and businessmen took part in the events. Discussion topics included post-pandemic world at the crossroads of old and new strategies, Go stratagems, the use of hybrid intelligence in solving applied problems, the Asia-Pacific gaming market, and many others.
It teaches you how to properly understand, embed, and anticipate technology. Because if you don't invest in technology, you're likely to fall behind. And this field of multiple variables you have to see right away. And look at technology from a Go perspective. And look at the board, exactly the same board in technology. Not one technology, not 2, not 3, but many intersections of technologies. Not only that, but all the intersections happen on a cross-technological aspect. So that aspect is simply embedded in the strategy of Go.
After the plenary session, the participants of the business program sat down at the Gobbins. That's the name of the Go game field. Politicians and businessmen learned in practical terms the strategic aspects of this game. In the main competitive program of the World Championship, the player from China, Ma Tanfan, won. The Russian participant took 10th place. The game of Go is gaining popularity in Russia. In Moscow, 18 centers have opened for playing Go. In order to get to know the game better and learn how to play it, we've come to one of the capital's clubs. As you know, in the East, many arts and sports are united by a common philosophy. That's why one of the Moscow Go clubs is located in a karate school. That's where we met Timur Sankin, president of the Moscow Go Federation, in order to learn firsthand the history of the game in Russia, details of the Federation's work, and to understand how karate and Go are connected. Timur, how did the Go Association come to be in Moscow?
Actually, you have to start with the fact that Go is a Chinese game, which is thought to be about 4,000 years old. In China, it is called Wei Qi. In Japan, it is called Go. And in Korea, it is called Baduk. Here are the 3 pillars of our game: China, Korea, and Japan. Over the past century, the game came to Europe and America, actually thanks to Japan. That's why its Japanese name took root, not the Chinese one, Wei Qi. And Go was established here in Russia. There were 2 directions here, St. Petersburg and Moscow. As usual, the confrontation between 2 capitals. St. Petersburg was the cultural capital, and the beginning was somewhere in the 60s. And in Moscow, it was thanks to my Moscow State University professor, Postnikov, who I know was introduced to the game by his American colleague. And then, the first section was opened at Moscow State University, and little by little, the first articles appeared in Soviet magazines and newspapers about this strange game called Go. And the strongest development of the game was probably due to a series of articles in the journal Science and Life. The Federation itself was founded fairly recently, in 1998, so it is now more than 20 years old.
What does the Go Association do?
Its main idea is to unite like-minded people who play the game and attract new ones. So we help players improve their skills. We hold competitions as a unifying effect. We create clubs, and we introduce new players to the game.
We're in a very interesting place right now, which is the karate club. Is there any connection between karate and Go?
Karate is also an Oriental art, and of course, they are very close to each other. Karate develops the body and spirit, but Go develops intellect and spirit. So it is a logical combination, and so we are here.
It's like a balance.
Yes, it's a balance.
What skills can you get from Go and use in life?
Unlike, for example, chess, where the game ends quite quickly, Go has a big board, and during the game, we have to make a huge number of decisions and consider the whole board. And of course, Go develops strategic skills, decision-making skills, thinking skills. It's a kind of mental training, and it sharpens your character, some kind of moral character, because you can lose in a local way, but the game is big enough. If you tune in, then you have a chance to reverse the course of the game, the course of the battle. Plus, the game itself is like a mirror of a person, because the game shows your flaws. You make a move, you show your mindset. If you're greedy, you want more territory. If you're slow and careful, you're going to limit your playing area, and that's all demonstrated at the board. And your opponent can show those flaws of yours.
If a person wants to learn Go, how do you get started?
Thanks to the internet, it's like a separate layer. You can go online, you can never communicate with anybody, you can play on special servers with people from all over the world. Now, there are a lot of resources on YouTube. You can read the rules on the internet, video lectures, plus special servers, tasks that raise your skill level. Of course, a separate layer is our classical communication. It is a live communication, and the Federation's site helps. On the Moscow site, we have all the clubs where you can get acquainted with Go. So, how do you start? Buy a kit, get your friends and relatives interested, and go to a Go club. Or find yourself a mentor, a teacher, and practice. It's very difficult to learn without a teacher. Michael, we've talked a lot about the game, but I think it's time to try to play.
Okay, I'm ready. Super.
Okay, let's go.
According to the Moscow Go Federation, there are more than 10,000 people in Moscow who play it. More than 300 people regularly take part in tournaments. Various competitions in the Russian capital take place about once every 2 weeks. In the club, we met a rising star and a young master of Go, Sava Mezin, and got to know his story of acquaintance with this game. Sava, hi.
Hello, how do you do?
Very nice to meet you. Could you tell me, please, when and how you started playing Go?
It was around 2009. I went to the center near my house in Lider. I was involved in other groups there. And then, one day, my mom told me that we have a Go group there. I got interested at once, and I've been playing for some time now. I like the game very much.
Are you already a champion?
I have some awards. I won the Russian Under-12, Under-16, and Under-20 championships. I placed third at the European Under-16 championship.
How difficult is it to learn to play Go?
It's a difficult question because everyone has their own understanding of the game. Some can learn very quickly. I have a couple of friends who rose to a very good level in a year. It's all up to you how you understand the game, how quickly you master it.
So this is how you learn how to play Go, develop useful new skills, and spend an interesting time. This is Capital Ideas Life.